Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today we're going to do a bunch of work on the Espalier apple fence. What we're going to do is get all of these posts cut to a certain length, 5'6", and then we're going to string up the 3 wires. Once we get that done, we'll start the initial training of the trees to the wire. I've been mulling over how to do this for several weeks, and I've changed the design numerous times. I keep simplifying it, and I think I'm down to a real good design for how to put the wires up. At first, I wanted to use these. These are used in vineyards. I had a vineyard up until this year, and what these do, you drill a post and pound this into it, put a couple nails or screws through there, and then the wire goes through the post this way, and it has a one-way clamp in it. So you can yank your wire as tight as you want and tighten it up occasionally, but I don't want to have the wires going through the center of the post. I want them on one side, and that's because of how I'm going to train the trees themselves. I'll get into a little bit more of that later, but as the trees get all the way down to the wire to the posts, I'm going to use soft straps to strap them right to the post, and as they get thicker, I might even be able to remove those. These are for splicing wire to wire, and and I had planned on using these as well, and I'll probably go back to this, but I don't believe these are the right size. Yeah, it says 10-11 gauge, and I believe the wire I have is 14 gauge, so the wire I have is too small for these. But like I said, I'll go back to these at a different point. But for today, I'm just going to use these on both ends. And how these gripples work is you feed the wire through and you make a loop and feed it back through the other way. And then there's a gripple tool, this right here, that will pull the wire nice and tight. What it does is pulls the wire through one end, and it acts just like these. The wire can't go back. It can only be pulled one way. I'll show you all that in much more detail when we get up there. And these right here are used at the end of the wire. These are thimbles. I would rather have smaller thimbles. These are 1/8 inch, and like I said, the wire is pretty tiny. So at some point I'm going to swap this stuff out and use a smaller thimble. I'm going to use this on one end, and on the other end I'll just have a turnbuckle like that and crimp it. So one end will be fixed and it'll be adjusted on the other end. And these can be removed with this special tool, which is just a pin that releases the clamp inside there. All of this will be a little more obvious when we get into it, but the first thing I need to do is cut the post to length. So what I'm going to do is get a chalk line at the correct height and snap that. That's going to be on a little angle, so I'm going to visualize where the center is and then get a level line there. I'm going to cut all the tops level because I like the way that looks better. I could cut them on an angle, but I think that'll look kind of goofy. So you could see how they're at all different heights right now. When I'm done, they're all going to be at 5'6" inches, and the top wire is going to be right at 5 feet. All right. Where is my saw? Okay, I got my circular saw. What I'm going to do with this is go around the top of the post. I'm not sure if it's going to cut it off completely. I might have to go with a handsaw after I'm done with this. And I got my little Stabila level. what I'm going to do is my little hash mark. I'm going to take a piece of string and tie it around the top and take my little level and work my way around and try to get the string nice and level. I'm going to be working on the tops of these posts in a different video. I'll be waterproofing them. That should be an interesting video, but we won't get into that right now. For now, I just want to get as straight of a cut as I can. All right, let's take all this stuff and move over. Oh, this is a wire cutter for heavy duty wire. This will cut that 14 gauge wire. I have to go get a chunk of the 14 gauge wire first, but when I do get it, I'll cut it with that. Right now, we're going to cut the posts to length. Okay, this is 66 inches, 5 feet 6 inches. Put a screw in, and then I measured up on the very last one. It's going to be really hard to see. It's at a slight angle. Little chalk line right there. Little chalk line right there. And a little chalk line right there. Show you what I'm doing with the string here. I'm just doing this by eye. Can get a pretty good idea if it's level or not. I just have a loop in the string with the end going over it. I'm going to reuse it on each one of these, and I'm going to go around, get this as level as possible, and then put a dashed line on it with my marker. I tried using a rubber band, but it just won't go straight enough. So I think we have it right here. Let's put the dashed lines on there and get one of these cut. Okay, I got my line all the way around. Now, I'm going to try cutting this with the circular saw. Usually, I just make a single cut and then cut the rest with a saw, but I'm going to try going all the way around. Either way, I can touch it up if I screw it up a little bit, just like if I have a ragged cut. I'm going to sand the top of these with a belt sander in a couple days, so it really doesn't matter either way, but like I said, I'm going to try going all the way around with a circular saw. Well, I thought it would be easier to go around it with the circular saw and then cut with the handsaw, but it really wants to bind because the line isn't perfectly straight. So if you're going up and down, the blade is going to bind in the wood. Not a big deal. We'll put a line on the next one and we'll just cut the whole thing with the circular saw. I might try to just make a slice going straight across. That's how I did it down in the vineyard. Make one single cut and use that to start the saw and then cut the rest of the way through. Okay, now I'm going to mark 20, 40, and 60. 60 is 5 feet, and I'm going to put a screw at each place Then we can pull that chalk line and snap it at those heights. That's where the wires are going to go. I had Natalie come over and help me snap a chalk line. Then I remembered that I don't need chalk lines for this. It's just getting looped over one end and then pulled to the other end, tightened with the gripple, and then wherever it hits on the post, I'm going to be putting metal straps. I got to make those metal straps, but you'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. No need for a chalk line now. We just need the wire. And the wire I got for this may be a little bit too small. This is 1/16 inch braided stainless steel, and I just picked this up. I went down and grabbed a piece of the wire that's in the vineyard. This is high tensile strength wire. I don't know, it's kind of hard to show this, but this is incredibly stiff. So it was just way too hard to bend and get into one of the gripples. The normal way that you use this wire is with one of these. You know, I showed you this earlier, but I can show you exactly how it works now. It goes through this way. You push it through from one way, and then there's a tool that you use to pull it, and once you pull it out, it can't go the other way. I think they do that because this is so stiff that you can't loop it around and get it through a gripple. So I'm not exactly sure if a gripple's going to work on this. Yeah, I could probably try that right away. Let me try, well, actually, we'll just go do this on the trellis. It's been about 3 days since I last filmed, and I really need to get this done. Let's clamp this, or not clamp it, but squeeze it. Let's see, what does it say? 1 and 2. This is what we're going to use right here. I may have to go to 3/32 or 1/8 inch wire. I have 1/8 inch wire, but I don't have any 3/32. This will work for now though, so let me crimp this and then we'll get moving and get these on the trellis. Alright, once this is installed on the trellis, this thimble won't fall off, but it's kind of loose right now, so I got to get it to where it's holding. This is a pretty heavy-duty tool. I'll put it down in the right slot. I should be able to just pop that in once I'm done. This is a little clumsy. And you can't rest. There we go. You can't rest one leg of the tool on something because it has to be all the way open. Alright, so we'll go put this in place. This just hooks over that screw, and then hopefully this gripple works on the other end. It looks like it should work. I pulled all this wire up from the vineyard thinking I was going to use it, but that is not the case. Just set this aside for now. I'll have to coil this up and use it for something else. Okay. Hook this on the other end. Oh, I gotta take these zip ties off. Well, that works really well. I think I can put that screw a little further in. Yeah, I'm going to need 2 hands for this, otherwise I'm going to have a mess. Alright, we're going to try a new way of doing this. I have one installed already, and I'll show you how to do the gripple part in case you decide to use that technology. But otherwise, you can just use a turnbuckle, and I'm not going to go into how to use a turnbuckle. I believe I have other videos on that. Yeah, that's much easier. Just rest it on one of the handles. Alright, we have an eye. Alright, first thing we got to do is cut this to length. And remember which way to do this. Yeah, it's the bottom here. Push the wire through from the silver side to the blue side, and then wrap it around and push it through the other side. I might not. On the other one, I got it too close to the end, and on this one, I may have gotten it the opposite. Yeah, I need enough wire to get through here, but I can fix that. So I'm going to want to get the gripple right about 2-3 inches away from the end. So first we'll release it from that side, and then we'll release it on this side and slide it down a bit. Okay, I think that's about it. And again, if you don't want to go through getting the gripple stuff, you can always use a turnbuckle. Oh, I need a thimble. Almost too tight, but all right. Now this hooks into the back end of the tool, and then you take your loose end, not the wire itself, and it pulls it nice and tight. Beautiful. And these are going to be the clips to hold it to the middle posts if this works. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. Yeah, that'll work just fine. And I'm probably going to change this at some point for some kind of stainless steel clip. But this is what I have on hand, so this is what I'm going to use. I had planned on cutting it like right in the middle and then drilling another hole, but I think I'm going to try it just like this. Yeah, I think I'll try it just like this. Just a couple screws, kind of leave it like that with this rounded part towards the fence. But like I said, I will probably swap this out for something different. But this will work for now. Okay, that's it for stringing the wire and getting the tops cut. I believe I said this before. In another video, I'm going to show you how to waterproof these tops. And in that same video, I'm going to train these trees to the wire. I think I'm going to do that in probably 2 days. I got to do it soon, but it's probably going to have to be about 2 days from now. Yeah, that's going to work really well. They don't want to sag at all. I don't know how heavy these are going to be once they're on the wire. We'll find that out. But they'll be at their heaviest when they have fruit on their branches, and that's not going to happen this year. So if you want to see that next video, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.